Oh, boy. First and foremost, congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals keeping their postseason hopes alive. And they're going to need a little bit of help tomorrow from Miami and also from Denver in order to qualify for the postseason. Why am I spending my breath talking about the playoff hopes of the Cincinnati Bengals? Oh, that's because the Pittsburgh Steelers playoff hopes might as well be all but finished. Because who really wants to run to their television, tell their family or their friends, significant other, buddies, coworkers, whatever the case may be, oh, hold on, wait a minute, I'm unavailable this weekend because the Pittsburgh Steelers is playing. Oh, no, I'll pass on the game. Will I watch it? Absolutely. Will I be live? Without question. But I'll tell you this much. There's no reason to have any form of excitement, optimism, to want to go and watch the Pittsburgh Steelers play. Let me tell you something right now. They quit the moment they clinched a playoff berth a month ago. Once we got to that 10-win mark, they said, hey, you're clinched into the AFC postseason. Pittsburgh said, our job is done. Mike Tomlin got that winning season, and we no longer wanted to play football. Yet another game, fourth consecutive, we get dominated on the time of possession. Offensively, we had what? 5 3-and-outs? Maybe 6? Defensively, we held them to a ton of field goals. We got a turnover, pressure. We were pretty much having Joe Burrow, for all intents and purposes, getting hit left and right, but they still were able to generate points. We couldn't get off the field when we needed to, but I will say this much. Offensively, I can't even sit here and blame Arthur Smith. Over the course of the past, 5, 6 some years, we could look at the Todd Haley. We can look at the Matt Canada. We could look at the number of different guys we had calling plays and say, hey, this ain't it. The play calling is ass. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Arthur Smith could be calling some of the worst plays. We can't execute them whatsoever. It don't matter what call comes from the sideline. Offensive line ain't going to block. Russell not going to read. He going to hold on to the football, and the wide receivers not going to be able to go out there and get no separation. To hell with the run game, because we're trailing every single game to where we can't even bring the run game into play. The team that we were prior to the month of December feels like we're watching the 70 Steelers to the 2020 Steelers. That's the complete difference between this football team from the month of November, October, November, to December and the first week of January. It's 2 completely different football teams. And I don't recognize this one at all. TJ Watt has probably had more plays eliminated by penalties this season than any other player in the league. And it's our fault for that. It's not as if the referees call them bailout plays. He gets a motherfucking strip sack, albeit they recover the fumble. We got defenders, defensive backs, cornerbacks, holding people's hips. You out here dancing. We might as well go to a salsa goddamn class. Let's go do a little bit of the bachata. Perhaps you want to take it to the 1930s and do the doggone twist. We out there doing the Charleston out there because ain't nobody know how to cover. All we know how to do is hold. We can't make a tackle on first contact to save our lives. Everybody is able to get yards after catch, yards after contact against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can drag all kinds of players who played in yesteryear onto the field right now, and I can promise you they'll have positive yardage against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. But our defense is incredibly gassed, incredibly tired. Why is that? Because the offense can't move the chains whatsoever. How many times are we going to have to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers offense underachieve? It's been 5 years. The moment Ben tore his doggone elbow, we haven't been able to generate a comparable offense since then. We've been ass since. And it's embarrassing. Take a look at the game again and take a look in the stands. Outside of the one time they played Renegade, did you hear the crowd? They weren't in it. They didn't even want to be there. They had a shot of 2 elderly Steeler fans who looked like they had to have been in their 60s. Have you no shame? Wearing the jersey that holds 6 Lombardi championships, and you got the elderly out there freezing their life off, damn near about to die trying to cheer y'all on, but you giving them nothing worth cheering for. And for Tomlin, I've said this the past few years. I was once a huge believer in you to be able to go out there and put forth winning football. Biggest crutch has been losing in games against sub 500 teams, sub 250 teams, to be quite honest with you, where we've taken losses against terrible football teams in the past. But when it came to playing against teams that have something to play for, and furthermore, teams that are contenders, we always would at least show up. That ain't the case no more. We legitimately might as well be nothing more than, no disrespect, but we have to call it what it is. We're no different than Tennessee, Jacksonville, Chicago, Cleveland, the Giants. We might as well be in the bottom 4th of the NFL, because that's what it feels like watching us play. We have been burdened over the course of the past 15 years from the no losing season business, because we're so incredibly mediocre and middle of the pack that every single year we have expectations and it never gets met. I would much rather be in a scenario where we enter into games and there's no reason for me to sit here and cheer on the team and get emotionally invested behind seeing us win, if that's the brand of football we're going to play. And that sounds crazy coming from me, because I believe you play to win the game. I don't believe in tanking. I don't believe in none of that shit. But the way we playing football right now, that's what I feel like I'm watching. I feel like I'm watching a 4-12 football team trot out onto the damn field, and they're going through the motions. George Pickens got 1 catch, 0 yards. You arguing with people in the crowd? What are you arguing with fans for? You've done nothing, sir. What are you arguing with fans for? Pat Freiermuth drew a pass interference. This was in maybe the 2nd, 3rd quarter. What are you getting up and going and grabbing the Cincinnati defender to let them know the flag was up? What are you doing that for? We lost 3 straight games. We're losing in the game. Nobody should be talking trash whatsoever. Jamar Chase had like 8 catches for like 80-some yards in a TD. Joey Porter just so happens to have himself a great tackle, albeit cool and well. Defense over here celebrating like they did some. What the hell y'all celebrating for? I know it's an emotional game. I played it, not at that level. But as far as I'm concerned, this should be a situation where you make your play, you to the sideline. Ain't no celebrating, because you ain't earned the right to do so. And moreover, further than just earned, you don't deserve to do so. We do nothing for 4 consecutive weeks but waste people's time. 3 of those games on prime time? For all intents and purposes, all 4 of the past few games shown to national audiences. It was a 4 o'clock game against Philly. It was a 4 o'clock game against Baltimore. No, pardon me. It was a Saturday game against Baltimore. That's nationally televised. That's prime time, baby. Christmas game on Netflix against the champs in Kansas City. And then a Saturday primetime game, national television against Cincinnati. Each of those games, you embarrass yourself. It's one thing to be a bad football team. It's another thing to be a god-awful football team that underachieves. Because, like I stated, all of those other teams that are bottom feeders in the league, at least they are not walking into the postseason. Year in, year out, when the conversation comes around for Pittsburgh in the playoffs, it's never are they a contender to go and possibly contend for the Lombardi. We're a stepping stone for the other team. I can promise you, this upcoming week, Steeler fans, I want you to just take a look at the media. I know it's not going to be very nice to feel, turn on the television and listen to what they have to say about our squad, but let's call it what it is. That's what our squad is. People are going to be talking about, okay, Baltimore to the championship. Yeah, they're playing against Pittsburgh. That's an easy wash. We came into the year talking about, we own the Ravens. 7 of the last 8 games, we beat their ass, man. What that mean? Nothing. Baltimore could trot out there with Trent Dilfer right now. And I'd still feel confident that we might find a way to lose that game. Confident that we'll find a way to lose that game. Mike Tomlin stand on the sideline, and all he does is eyes wide open, looking around, lost, deer in the headlights. Nobody know what the hell they doing. Pickens arguing with the damn crowd, pouting on the damn sideline and everything. We don't understand clock management whatsoever. We catch a break. Defense able to go and catch, Joe Burrow on the ground. Somehow we starting to build a little bit of momentum. Last drive, what do? We keep a timeout in our back pocket. Move the chains. Russell Wilson tucks the football and runs rather than spike the football. Why? You're a 13-year vet? 12-year vet? Spike the fucking football. Nah, I'm going to try to use my legs. And then not only am I going to try to use my legs, I'm not going to get out of bounds. I'm going to lower the shoulder, and then I'm going to waste time. We lost like 25 seconds there. The time is more important than the downs because it's 4-down territory regardless, right? So what are we doing? Then we catch a break. Cincinnati falls asleep. George Pickens is wide open, but he decides to run a post, corner, go corner. What are you doing? You look like you were on the schoolyard just zigzagging back there. You trying to evade a dog? Michael Vick and his family done let loose the family business? You trying to evade the dogs? What kind of route was that? All he had to do was head up the field. That's a touchdown. Russell Wilson don't know where you going, so he gonna throw it to what he assumed you were running. Because there's no way that was a play by design. Mans was dancing out there. What are we doing? Then the last play, Freiermuth, who for all intents and purposes was the only person catching footballs for us today. Mike Williams had that early catch and then did a whole lot of nothing. It goes right through your hands. Oh, it's cold out there. It feels like it's 10 degrees. It's football weather. It's football weather. We're a bad football team. Period. The only bright spot this season really has been Chris Boswell. TJ Watt actually has had a down year. We're a bad football team. Think about it. In the AFC right now, Miami, if they get in, and that's only if Denver were to lose, we're the worst team in the AFC playoffs. Even among, the only team that we could probably say, maybe we're better than them, is Miami if they were to get in. And even still, whether it be Tua, Tyler Huntley, they could bring Skylar Thompson out there. If they trotted out their team against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I can promise you, we'd find a way to lose. Because that's the team that we are. We're not the team that finds ways to win. We're the team that finds ways to lose. And y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. I hope this makes it to the damn Steeler locker room. I really do. Because when the populace of the Steelers fan base has complained over the course of the past 10 years, well, really 8, because post-2017 is really when it started getting really bad. So 2018, that collapse up until now. 2019 was a wash. 2020 when we were absolute frauds. All the way up until now. We've played the same brand of football. Hang around to where we can sneak out a win or get embarrassed and then showcase why we find ways to lose. Because I'll tell you something right now. Ain't nobody running to the television next week to go watch us play against, whether it be Houston, if Las Vegas is able to get a W against the Chargers, or if it's against Baltimore, where we travel to the bank to go take on the AFC North champions because we fumbled the division again. So, y'all look yourselves in the mirror and figure out what kind of football team y'all want to be. Because as far as I'm concerned, and I think I can speak for most Steeler fans, although we love our team and we're going to cheer for them to go and win, who's really sitting there like, man, we got it. We going to bounce back? Nah, that don't exist. Only way we win in the playoff game is if we play on Madden. Y'all gonna have to show me. I would hope you could prove me wrong next week. As far as I'm concerned, whether it be Baltimore, whether it be Houston, we gonna get boat raced. We gonna get blown the fuck out. Because this team don't look like a team that want to play football. This look like a team that's going through the motions. They just out there to go and receive a check. That's all I'm seeing. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be professional football players. There should be an element of pride, not only to put on the jersey and helmet, but to be able to walk out there as an NFL player. You achieved your dream. And now what? You're out there just going through the motions. Save us the time and just forfeit the following game if this is the kind of brand of football you're going to play. Because although you should never step out on the field and lay down for an opponent, that's what it certainly feels like. This ain't nothing different than the finger poke of doom, WCW 2000, Bash at the Beach. Y'all, we Kevin Nash, and every other team is Hulk Hogan. We laying on the ground. Everybody walks over us. That's just the reality of the situation. Steelers on 3. We suck on 6. 1, 2, 3 Steelers. 4, 5, 6. We suck. That's all I got to say about that. Hey, I appreciate you watching the entire video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button on the way out if you haven't already. And on top of that, hit that notification bell as well. For whatever reason, YouTube's only showing my videos to 20% of my subscribers. So if you have already turned on the notification bell, turn it off, turn it back on. If you never turn it on, turn it on. I appreciate you.